Check, check, check. Can y'all hear me? How's everyone doing tonight? Appreciate y'all coming out. Good-looking crowd. Where's all the ugly people at? Just playing. Yeah, awesome to have you guys out. So much to talk about. Who's here to learn more about social media? We want to talk about amplification, trends, insights, monetization, partnerships, talking to brands, a lot of good stuff. We're all here for one reason, and one reason only tonight. And that reason is a guy named Mike, who's an Uber driver in Tennessee. We're all here because of Mike. Let me explain why. So I was in Tennessee in August to do another panel kind of like this, and he was telling me how he's a touring drummer, and he tours 3 times a year, and he's killing it with all these people. And he asked me, like, how important is it that I be on social? I go, I think it's pretty important. And he goes, yeah, it's just frustrating because there's this 15-year-old kid that I followed on YouTube who's got millions of fans, and he's making a ton of money and getting all these brand partnerships. And he said, but he's not even that good of a drummer. I'm 10 times better, and it's so frustrating. And I go, well, why is that frustrating? And he goes, because I work a lot harder. You know, I said, well, why don't you work harder and do what he's doing? Should this little kid quit because he's not good enough? Or should he keep doing it? He should keep doing it, right? So he's like, yeah, but I don't really have time to post on Instagram. Like, you know, I'm not the selfie guy. I go, but you have time to drive an Uber, right? You know, he's like, all right, point well taken. You know, at the end of the day, Mike is a purist. As a musician, he thinks that being a great musician is all it takes, which should be the way it should be, but our world doesn't work like that. You gotta kind of get yourself out there on social. And that's why we're all here tonight. Because of Mike, I want to give Mike a shout out wherever you are. Thank you, Mike. You inspired all of this. Appreciate you. Love you, fam. So at this time, I'd like to bring out our panelists. Can we give a big warm round of applause to our panelists? What's up? This is Maile Pacheco. She is the CEO and the founder of BeGlammed app. Absolutely killing it. That's my chair. Don't touch that. She's in 28 cities. Female, original boss bee. I love this girl. She's so smart. So much knowledge over here. We've got Kaila. She's an award-winning content creator. Her clients include Vice. She is brilliant, and she's going to talk from a PR kind of perspective. She's just got a lot of insight in that. Kiki Wong. She's the co-founder of Nylon. Give it up for Kiki. Another amazing content creator and growth hacker. Gaelen Whittemore, my dear friend, who is a music executive for Universal, works with a lot of the top acts today, and he's got a really innovative branding agency that consults, that helps things blow up, in a good way, though. You know, so like brands, messages, products, services, music, a little bit of everything. So with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. I'm gonna just open up my notes real quick. Give me 1 second. So how should we start? We've got so many great people here. Can we start with the basics? What do you do on social? What do y'all do? Like, how do you start?
I watch beauty videos on social, a lot of them.
Okay.
I'm more of the user on social than I am the poster. So I'm actually hoping to get some knowledge from the rest of the panelists, but I call it doing my homework. I literally just stroll and look at what's happening, what's relevant, and what's going on.
Give me like 3 best practices based on your trolling activities. You know, like what should or shouldn't I do? Just give me like a couple of pieces.
A couple of pieces. So don't like too far down the timeline. That's weird.
That's more like for someone you're dating, right?
Yeah, it's clear you're stalking their IG. And for brands that you want attention from, always like their stuff. As soon as it's posted and watch their videos, you might catch their eye. Third would be, gosh, I don't know. I got 2.
Good enough. Kaila.
Yeah, I think if you're just brand new to social media, like just starting 100% new, just go and observe the profiles that you love and see what they're doing, how often they're posting, what they're posting. And what's really important is to kind of tell a story with the feed. So kind of think of your feed on Instagram in particular like a magazine. So each photo in that should look like the same spread of a magazine. So that's how I would say to get started.
Good tip.
I would say for branding your Instagram, think of it as you're branding yourself. So target your niche and figure out what exactly it is that you want to say. So if you have a lot of things that you enjoy, maybe you like playing guitar, maybe you like, playing video games, pick one that you know that you're the best at, that you can really showcase and tell that story consistently. So you want to make sure that you're consistently posting at the same time every day or whatever days that you decide to post, and tell that story, and don't forget that what your mission statement is.
I like that. I think the storytelling aspect is huge with social media, and I think first and foremost you need to define for yourself what you want to use social media for, and you have to understand that social media is simply a tool, and each social media platform should be used differently. You have, Instagram is great for short form video and for photos and for creating a compelling story via your timeline. Facebook is a great platform because there's a share function and you can do long form video. You don't have character limits. You have some more, there's 3 billion people. You can be very strategic in advertising in both Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is for someone who's very witty and clever and does great things with words and can get a point across within a short character limit. So I think you want to decide what is the story that I want to tell to serve me. How do I utilize this tool, and then devise a unique strategy that is entertaining and compelling to the viewer on the other side in executing your strategy for the given platform.
So with that said, we talked about continuity and then your branding. If you're just starting out, how do you know what branding that is? How do you figure that out if you're like an embryonic brand or a content creator?
I think sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error. So both me and Kiki have kind of developed our brand, and it's morphed and changed. So kind of listening to your audience, seeing what works, and being able to experiment and testing things a lot.
Yeah, from a brand's perspective, we track every post. And if you have your business profile for your Instagram and your Facebook, you can track your conversions, how often people are clicking, what time of day they're engaging with your post. And then from there, we strategize on how we're going to time out our post each day, what time of the day of a specific day of the week works best for engagement. If it's a video, what kind of video did we get the most likes on? Was it a relevant post? So from a brand's perspective, you really have a lot of tools on each platform, whether you're doing advertising or you're just trying to track who your audience is. Definitely use the analytics from that to help create strategy of when you're going to post and what you're going to post.
What about you, Kiki? How do you build a brand on social?
I think those are excellent points to dive in. And a lot of the times, I just did an interview with another founder on Monday. And it's interesting because a lot of the things that influencers or people who are trying to create influence on their social media platforms, they face a lot of the same difficult situations as brands do. And a lot of times there's this invisible wall that people are afraid to pitch to them, to talk to brands, and brands are afraid to actually reach out to some of the influencers as well. But I think just know that a lot of, it's great that we have a brand here too, because a lot of those types of experiences we're facing as influencers. So in terms of analytics, that's my number one thing. You got to look at analytics. And analytics, they may seem intimidating at first if you haven't, been exposed to it. You're like, what is this graph? What do these numbers mean? But if you focus on the generalization, say you post a picture, you didn't know what you're really going to target yourself, and you're like, okay, well, here's a picture. I play drums and guitar. I'm going to do my drum video first and see how that goes. And then you can take a look at the analytics and see, what age group the people are that are checking you out. If they're male or female, what time of day they actually did check you out, and whether they liked it or not. And in the caption, you can even ask them for feedback. There's obviously going to be trolls and people that are going to always kind of like, but that could be good too. It could be an indicator when maybe I shouldn't do something, or maybe I should do more of this because it's gaining, more attention. But yeah, each post, basically, looking at your analytics can help you determine what brand you want to build if you're just starting out. So it's definitely important. And you can do that by creating a business account for yourself. So even if you're not a business, just create a business account. You get free analytics, and Instagram provides it for a week, so it's awesome.
Let me ask you, let's say that you've built a brand. How do you amplify that then? What are some tips and tricks? What y'all do?
Hashtags.
Give me the secret sauce.
Early on, hashtags help. It helps you get seen by people who like similar hobbies, interests, whatever's relevant. I know that is what helped us grow our following, and we're 100% organic. We've only been on the gram for 4 years, and compared to some of our competitors who have way more followers, their engagement's much lower. But what I find is the kind of people that we want to attract to our page for the brand are liking the things that we're hashtagging as well. So we kind of look at every post and what hashtags may have gotten us new followers, and I know that helped us in the early stages growing that Instagram.
Another great way to amplify your content is through collaborations. So if you're just starting out, then look for other talented people like yourself who have a similar amount of following, and get together and make some music together, like do a music video together or shoot a photo shoot together, and then both of you post and tag each other. And the same with brands. If you're just starting out, maybe look for a brand that's just starting out. They need content for their Instagram, and brands love it when they get amazing photos and videos, and they love to repost that. So I would look for both brands and influencers of a similar following to collaborate with.
And you brought up a good point about like the brands. From a brand's perspective, we needed to grow our following, so what we did was we partnered with influencers at every level, whether they were just a micro-influencer with 10,000 followers, but everybody within Dallas, Texas knew them, and we were launching Dallas, to mega influencers who had over 5 to 8 million followers, but none of their followers may have been in the cities that we were launching. So at any level, it's helpful to work with and partner with influencers, content creators, especially as a brand. When you're growing, they might be growing as well, and then you build brand loyalty, and then they blow up and your brand blows up, and then you come back together, and then the engagement's even stronger. So the collabs are another like really good thing to do to help amplify.
So touching on that, and we'll get to Kiki and Gaelen, I want to hear your thoughts as well. How many beauty influencers are here? Beauty or lifestyle? Couple hands? Like 10, 12? I think this can touch not just on beauty, but a lot of different things. How does a micro-influencer or a professional influencer approach you as the brand? Like, how do they approach BeGlammed?
We get all kinds of pitches or requests, and there's a way to properly approach a brand to get what you want or just to meet an objective. And even prior to launching BeGlammed, I'd worked with MAC Cosmetics for years in corporate sponsorships for the entertainment industry, and even those requests, you would think, okay, it's corporate, they'll be more formal. No, it would be an email from someone that met me 3 years before saying, hey, I need product, I'm working with so-and-so, can I get all this stuff for free? And it's couple $1,000 order, and I'll respond and say, hi, it's so good to hear from you. It's been a while, what are you up to? Sure, let's talk about what you need, but now with a service company, like we provide hair and makeup on demand, the requests are even stronger. It's like, hey, I'm walking the red carpet, I have 10,000 followers, I need hair and makeup, so can you hook me up? No introduction, no bio about who they are. Then we go to their Instagram, and it's not the same target demographic as our audience or our client, and it wouldn't really help us to do that. And there's not a lot of value in that. And then also just the way that the request came in, it was immediate turnoff. So I would suggest always introduce yourself and a 1 or 2 liner about who you are as a brand or as an influencer. What do you stand for, so that the brand really knows, okay, this person matches my brand persona. And then go in with your request. Always say please and thank you, and make it as professional as possible. But I've seen some pretty tragic requests come through. And sometimes they're influencers that I'll follow on Instagram and get excited, like, oh my gosh, they want to use BeGlammed, this is great. But they were just so abrupt that it immediately turned me off, and we would decline the ask.
Kiki, your thoughts on partnerships and the approach?
That's a really interesting a topic, because interestingly enough, we've been given, we as the people have been given this tool, which is basically you can create your own business. People can become an influencer, and that can be their primary job. However, because this tool is not like through any education system, you know, a lot of people may or may not have the best business practices. So a lot of things get lost, you know, whereas in a traditional business negotiation, that would never fly. So it's interesting to see this new age and new world in like market emerging that's thriving, but a little bit like the Wild Wild West. So definitely one of the most important things I'd say is putting together a media kit. And media kit sounds really intimidating, but it's not. It could, like, if you are just starting out, you can do like a one-pager, put like your best image of who that showcases you. If you're like a drummer, you can put yourself playing the drums and that shows your face or whatever. Or if you're an influencer, nice photo, your profile picture, maybe it's just for brand consistency. Some of your socials, if you don't have really big numbers, just put your highlights, like things that you do. You can even be funny about it, a little bit charismatic. And then just a bio, you know, things you can look up, different types of media kits, templates online, and then a nice cover letter which states your name, you know, what your objective is, what your, like a one-liner that describes your objective through social media, and what you're trying to propose to the business. But you have to also remember that this isn't about you, it's about the business. So when you do a pitch, you're not saying, hi, this is me, you know, I'm really excited about the stuff that I'm doing. How do you think? You know, they're gonna be like, what the heck is this? You'd be like, hi, this is me. This is what I can offer to you as a brand. How can we work together to move forward and create something awesome that's mutually beneficial?
Gaelen, thoughts on building that partnership and approaching?
Yeah, I think when it comes to approach, I definitely agree with, I like a one sheet. I think especially when you're starting out, I mean, less is more. I don't think a full bio, I think a full bio is too much. If you can't, in 3 sentences, tell me something that perks my interest as to what you're building around your brand, then you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to be able, you're sending these packages to busy executives that are trying to make decisions on who they're gonna work with, who they're gonna collaborate with, and you wanna be short, sweet, and to the point, right? So it's like jab, jab, right hook. And so give a quick, brief, even just bullets of what you're about. I would give some examples of past collaborations or partnerships that have worked good, maybe some statistics around those. Whatever it is that creates a sexy look for you and just puts you in the best light possible. You know what you've done that has really worked well, and you know, pull those statistics, pull examples of those collaborations or links to those collaborations, links to your favorite pieces of content that you've made, whatever, so that a brand can look at it and say, wow, if I engage with this person, I know the level of quality and care that I'm gonna get in a partnership. And that means a lot, you know? It's like less is more in all areas of storytelling and brand building. And like where we, as ambitious people, I think, make mistakes is that we think of marketing is answering questions when marketing is actually making people pose a question and want to dig into our brand further. You know, if I'm helping an artist get out there, I don't want to tell the whole artist story right away. I'm trying to build a story that's got to be told over 20, 30 years. I just want you, if I run a Facebook or Instagram ad against a piece of content, I just want something that makes someone say, what is this? Let me dig into this further. It's like you put a YouTube video up. The most important decision you're going to make about that YouTube video is what's the thumbnail. You need to put the thumbnail that makes someone say, what the F is that? You know what I mean? So they click on it. If it's just run of the mill, they're gonna keep scrolling. So I think understanding that your job as a marketer in a social media space is to make people pose a question, make people say, wait, what's going on here, right? Because then we're scrolling timelines. They say a video, you have 7 seconds to get someone's attention, and most of the time people watch video on a timeline with no sound. So if you need the sound, you have to make sure your video is compelling enough to make someone double tap so that the sound comes on, right? But I'm huge on the collaboration thing. I think that so many of the answers to you guys growing your social media are in this room, but not up here amongst each other. You know, like you could have 500 following and there's someone sitting behind you that has 500 following. You could be a beauty person. The person behind you could be a fashion person. And there's a way that you guys could do something cool together that you get to share to your 500, to her 500, and boom, you could each grow 50 following off of the collaboration or whatever. And if you make a point, I know a photographer friend who he shoots the biggest people in the entertainment world, and he told me that every single day he goes back through past clients, different things like that, and sends 10 business development emails and just touching base with people, growing relationships. You guys should be in that same space. It's so cool that you're coming here, but the power of the fact that, like, you're not someone trying to be an influencer or a celebrity or an actor or a musician in Wichita. You're in Hollywood, okay? And we all get up and feel bad for ourselves in different moments and whatever, but I think you have to approach your perspective with the gratitude and reality that, damn, for what I'm trying to do, I'm in the greatest place on earth that I could be. I could have been born in a different country. I could have been, you know, whatever it is, but however it turned out, I got myself to the belly of the beast. And I have an opportunity every single day to go out and shake hands and say hello to people and plant seeds every single day that can help change my life, one step at a time, you know? And I've just found that people who take that attitude have a growth cycle that goes like this, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's the whole thing of you have to prepare for that moment, you know, and you have to be ready when that door opens and you're in a space where that door can open. So it's a matter of you guys continuously going out there with the mindset that you're going to create magic moments, and you're going to do it by giving service to other people that are chasing their dreams and goals. You know, the more I can do to help Jen achieve the things that he's working on, the more apt he is going to be to when he sees an opportunity for me, whether I ask for it or not, to say, oh, I got to call Gaelen. Why? Because I showed up for him when he was working on something that meant a lot to him. And I think we have to have that attitude. And a lot of times in this city, we get the what about me attitude too much. Get out of that space. You know, the only time you do need to ask what about me, but only when you're saying, does this collaboration make sense, and is it organic for what the story that I need to tell? And anybody who is also trying to build a brand, if you say, you know, I love what you're doing, but to be honest, where I'm trying to take my brand and what this particular collaboration, I don't see it fitting in with my story, they have to respect that. You know, and if they don't understand it at that time, they will later. But that is a thing to protect. And I think even when brands come to you and want to give you money, when you build a following, sometimes you need to turn down that $10,000 because it's not organic and it doesn't make sense for the story that you're telling to partner with the story that that person is trying to tell. That person may be just overthinking who they really need to reach and just see that you have 1 million followers and they want you to post. But it's like that post, it doesn't sell well because it's not going to look and feel organic, you know? And I see so much money thrown away by brands in that space of just paying for the following and not really paying for a collaboration that makes sense for their brand.
And another thing, you made a good point about does it make sense for the brand and the influencer who's in the collaboration? But there's all of the companies that can afford to pay 6-figure deals to these influencers. A lot of times they're doing it because they have 6 figures that they can play with. And the brands that really have to work to get, like if I want to attract her as my new face, I'm not going to just call her and say, hey, here's 6 figures, post about BeGlammed, and we're going to do this and it's going to be great. I need to make sure that I've done my homework on her profile, what she's posting. Will her post with BeGlammed make sense on her feed? Will it make sense on our feed? You can tell if someone's had a paid for partnership. Thankfully now, Instagram literally tells you on the top, paid partnership with, which is great because although it might be a paid partnership, it might be a brand that you are so loyal to, that you love, and you're happy to tout, like, yeah, this is a paid partnership, and anybody who knows you knows you're already a fan of the brand to begin with. And then there's those paid partnerships that just don't look organic, they don't flow, it doesn't make sense, and those are the ones that your audience and the brand's audience will go, okay, I'm going to just disregard this post, but then their persona of you is going to start to change as well. Like, oh, they're willing to just take the money, and it doesn't matter if they believe in it or not.
That's huge. I'm sorry, but when you get your one sheet together and you start reaching out and sharing ideas of content you want to create for particular brands or for other influencers, you know, like if I have a music client and they want to reach out to someone to do a dance to their song, I want you to go and make a list of 50 dancers that you think fit your style of music. You know, and same thing for you as, you know, if you're an aspiring influencer or an influencer already, make lists of brands and products that you actually use, that you would be honored to share true stories about, and, you know, see what ideas and what creative juices come from your actual appreciation for what someone has created. It makes, you know, as a creator yourself, when someone emails you or reaches out and shares their appreciation and for the art, the hard work that you put into a product or something like that and how it's affected their day-to-day, that means something. You always want to reciprocate that. So I think starting your reach out with products and services and people that you truly appreciate what they do is a big thing.
Kiki, Kaila, can you give us some color on brand alignment and the approach again? Like, give us some more stories about that.
Well, another thing I wanted to say is that a lot of the times when you think of a brand deal, you think, oh man, those are for people that have 10,000 followers or more. You know, I'm only have like 1,000 followers right now. I'm not ready to even approach brands about deals. But that's actually not the case. It's so funny. I always bring up one of my friends. She posted this Instagram story about like, hey, you know, who is this person? Who's this mystery person? It was just a very casual story. And she has, I think, about 1,100 followers. And then the next image was the analytics of that. And she's like, wow, you guys really wanted to know who this person was. And she had like 270 clicks on that person's tag. So, and she only had, you know, how much, the math, oh my gosh. 20-something% engagement right there on one Instagram story. And brands would go bonkers for that. And so you have to, if you are creatively, you know, telling the right story, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Like, for example, somebody, you know, say there's a dad that has like a motorcycle Instagram. He's only got like 300 followers or something, but he's got a really good motorcycle Instagram. He posts every day about his motorcycle. He shows the parts, how to build your motorcycle, how to fix it. Like, gives you value in his motorcycle Instagram, and then his followers are all other dads that are motorcycle Instagram guys too, but they're liking every single post. Then as Harley Davidson, or, you know, a motorcycle or smaller motorcycle brand maybe, would be like, that is awesome. I want this guy to come and talk about his motorcycles, or I want him to represent my brand because he's got almost 80% engagement or something. That's a very high number. But don't be discouraged, basically, about your following number. Numbers are numbers, and people get wrapped up into it. And yes, it can make or break deals, but if your engagement rate is high, that's the most important. And if you're targeted engagement and you're genuine engagement and you've stuck the course in your niche. And the way to calculate your engagement rate is you I can mess this up, so if you want to double check it on Google later, but you take the number of likes plus the number of comments divided by the number of followers, and then multiply it by the make it percent. So, does that make sense? So basically, your engagement will be your total, you have a photo, you've got 100 likes on your photo, 20 comments, 120, and then you have 1,000 followers. So divide it by 1,000 and then multiply it to make it a percentage. That would be your engagement rate. If you don't want to do that, which I clearly can't, you can use something called FOHR, which is FOHR.co. It's a free website. It's for influencers, and they give you some pretty detailed analytics on your Instagram account, and they'll do the math for you. And they'll put you in with other brands that are looking around for influencers as well. So yeah, fun tools.
Kaila, thoughts on that?
I would say just before you reach out to brands, make sure that their vision aligns with yours. When we're creating content for a brand and it just flows with our vision, it's so much easier just to create the content we normally create and just bring the brand into the story with us. That's when it becomes inorganic, when you have to try to change your image or whatever, or your the way you speak to incorporate a brand into your story. And the other thing is that we speak to a lot of brands now, and a lot of brands are focusing on working with micro-influencers. So it's all about engagement. I would say, if you approach a brand and you have 100,000 followers and 100 likes per photo, even if you didn't buy those likes, it looks very suspicious. So I would just focus, if you're just starting out, just really finding your target audience and getting them engaged, because that's what brands are really looking for.
How about some trends? Let's talk about trends and hacks on how to increase the engagement. I'm sure everybody's got some ideas.
Videos. So many videos are king these days. So we have a digital agency that manages a lot of our analytics and social media and all the money we spend on Facebook ads and whatnot. And one thing they always come back to us with is, your videos get the highest engagement. Keep pumping out videos. It's not the same for every brand, but once you find what's working for you, and then it was okay, we're gonna post some videos here and there. The tutorials were actually the ones that got the most engagement. And those are the ones where, starting out as a brand owner, you're thinking everything has to be highly produced, it has to be pristine, it has to look amazing. But the ones that we shot on our iPhones just super organically actually get the highest engagement, because the audience relates to it, because that's how they are usually looking through a lens, is through their phone, and they can relate to the videos they see shot with their iPhone. So, or Androids, you don't want to be too specific. But once you find what's working for you, post that. If you post a photo of yourself with cute shoes on and everyone comments about the shoes, post another photo with you wearing another pair of cute or standout shoes, and see if your audience engages with that. And then after a while, they start to expect to see photos of your cute shoes all the time, and then they know what to expect when they go to your page. And if they think, I need shoe inspiration, then they know whose profile to go to. So really finding your niche and what your audience is engaging with, and then amplifying that and doing more of that.
Also, Instagram stories is a great way to build engagement. I think not everyone on Instagram stories is taking advantage of tagging the location and tagging the hashtags. I think you can do up to 5 hashtags, and you don't want it to look spammy, so you can take the hashtags, put 5 of them, and then shrink them really, really small, and then change the text to match the background. So it just doesn't, break up your story. But the way hashtags work in stories is that when you go to a hashtag, you go search on it on Instagram, there's usually a video featured as a main video. and then the photos are featured at the bottom. So if you can get to be featured on that photo section for even, 5 minutes, that's a whole large amount of eyeballs on your page that wouldn't have known your profile from before. So I would say take advantage of Instagram stories, first of all, to tell your story, but also for more discovery.
Okay, wait, that was 5. Hashtag shrink them down and then make them. I'm taking notes. I'm taking
all these
notes.
complicated tips. Yeah.
Another cool thing, and I know you guys are probably a lot of musicians out there. If you're touring, this works really well because we travel in a travel blog. But if you're on your stories, a lot of the times people are like, what does social media do? What is the purpose of social media? And the purpose of social media is to give value back to your audience. So never forget that. And that's exactly why those tutorials work so well, is because it's giving value. Like sometimes images that are just like, if you're still trying to figure things out, maybe it's just an image that doesn't say anything that people can't take back from it, they're probably gonna pass by, they're not gonna engage with it. But what's great about stories is that they give value and you can interact directly. So that's value to people. Like the tool of social media allows people who have any type of notoriety or someone that they have interest in, but you interact. It's the networking part of it. So sorry. So what's great about that is if you guys are on tour, go to your locations and tag your location, say something fun, be like, yo, we're out here and somewhere, come out to wherever. Or, ask questions. Asking questions is the best way to interact. Like, just a simple question, even if it's something silly, like, be like, what, how many fingers am I holding up? It's a funny one. That's hilarious. People say some funny stuff. And like, just interacting, giving value back, or saying something, a motivational talk, your stories, and then tagging those locations if you're on tour. Because you never know. Like, we were in India, and we just tagged the locations, and so many people in those locations were like, oh my gosh, hey, who are you? Hi, what's up? And then we had like 20 DMs from the people, the locals. It was crazy. So, locations.
That's cool. I love what she was saying too about, social media was built to share, and that is a giving thing. And I think you have to get into a bit. It's a glorified popularity contest. It's like high school never leaves you now. You know what I'm saying? And you got to look at some of those principles. There's the thing. There's a side of it of giving service and sharing and giving props where they need to be given and this and that and being that person. And then there's the side of kind of withholding and making sure that it's like, no, you can't kiss the guy on the first date. Like, you got to make him want that. You can't give too much too soon. You got to play the game a little bit. And I think that keeping, again, marketing, right? It's all about keeping that curiosity, keeping that person on the edge of their seat, wanting that moment when you actually do give a reveal, and that's why I think what is so important is for you guys to be self-aware. This is a long race. It's not about you getting 10,000 followers this month or next month or whatever. This is about telling a story that you're going to be happy with when someone is speaking at your funeral. I'm dead ass. And we were talking backstage. Seriously, this is your real life. This is your real life. We were talking backstage, and like, all this weight that's put into social media and all of that, and it's like Instagram their founders just resigned. I have friends and clients that have major followings on this platform and this platform alone. That is scary as cuss word. You know what I mean? Because if something goes wacky with that platform and MySpace is on us or something like that,
Vine.
they have Vines. What's
example.
the dance when the kids won that TikTok just bought?
Oh, Musical.ly.
Musical.ly
is bought by TikTok.
Dance
right?
on, yeah, all of them, right? Any of that happens, and all of a sudden, business is over.
You have to start from scratch.
Yeah, you start from
completely.
scratch. And so, you know, something that my team talks about a lot is how are we using like Instagram story and the questions thing to build mailing lists? How are we driving people with swipe up and with these types of things to a e-commerce platform that we control, where we can get your phone number and text you when we need to, or we can get your email and make sure we have a direct relationship with our fans? You need to use these platforms as a tool to get them to an ecosystem that you control, where you can control your relationship with your audience. And I don't care what business you're in. You have to be able to build an organic communication and relationship between you, your product, brand, person, and the consumer or audience that is supporting you. And you know, I can't emphasize that enough. The emphasis needs to be on you and the business you're building, not on building a business through a platform that you don't control.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's so
Amazing.
true.
Well said. Very well said. I want to talk about continuity. You guys spoke about building a brand, building continuity. Is there such thing as too much continuity? Like if I post pictures of my shoes and I get a lot of engagement, and then I post it again the next day and the next day, at what point do people say that's enough? Like how do you know when to like diversify? And if you do diversify, should it be my shoes, then a shot of pizza, and then a shot of my cat, and then a shot of, you know, this, that, and the other thing? Then it gets too random. Like how do you know how to refine that?
I think that's mostly by testing. I mean, for a lifestyle brand, you would show different aspects of your life, like traveling here, a little bit of fashion here. But there's this account that we discovered that we're in love with, all about noodles, and they just post about noodles daily. And the account like went from 1,000 to like, 50,000 so fast because they were so targeted with their niche. So my other tip would be the more targeted you can get with your niche, the better. And that's been kind of a struggle for us because we love to do everything. We love to travel, we love to eat, and we want to share everything, but you have to scale it down and try to have focus. So in answer to your question, I would say it depends on your audience. Sometimes posting a shoe every single day really, really works.
I agree with that, and I think that gets back to what we were talking about before about, the share, the give. Like, as long as you just don't want to be like the person that's always like, look at me, right? Or, we all know those people, and it's just like, oh my God, here this guy goes again. If you can post shoes and it's from and it's your passion, and like these people do with the noodle, right? It's like they have a genuine love for noodles, and there's a world that loves noodles. There's a world that loves sneakers, and someone can be a great vlogger, influencer that is sharing that passion for sneakers and doing it in a way that's inviting and exciting to people who have a common thought process. And I think it's a matter of, like they said, going through that process, looking at what's working, and discovering your true voice. And in doing that, you'll find like, oh wow, Instagram really works for me. Or you know what? Actually, Twitter works for my voice. Or Facebook is great for me.
And if you're following the trends of what's happening with your engagement and what's working for you, you're going to start to naturally build continuity with your post if you're paying attention to what's happening with your audience. So your Instagram or whatever platform you use starts to grow in that direction organically. Like we used to post photos that we liked as inspiration, and it wasn't getting as much engagement of photos that we actually did hair and makeup for, and we can tell this is our client, done by our makeup artist or hairstylist so-and-so. So then our clients and audience were looking at it going, oh, I could book BeGlammed to get my hair and makeup done like this because this was done by the brand, as opposed to an inspirational photo. And every now and then I'll see some amazing hair makeup picture and be like, we gotta post this. And it'll get a lot of engagement, but it's like few far in between because we know that that's not what our audience engages with.
You've discovered an algorithm, basically, and you've stuck with it. So I keep hearing about this trend called newsjacking in social media. Anyone know what newsjacking is? I think in late night shows they do this. They make jokes about like, topical events, and then they kind of tie into what's happening, make it relevant. But I think that happens in social media. Can you guys give me some color on newsjacking?
Yeah, newsjacking is a technique that comes kind of from PR or from like writing, pitching to different outlets. We kind of used it, funnily enough, years ago when we used to do music a little bit. We had a band, and so newsjacking is basically to pay attention to what's happening now. If there's a trend that you can apply to the project you're working on. So at that time, there was this thing called K-pop that was emerging, and it wasn't big at all, but it was gaining a really huge underground following at that time. So us as a band, we were a rock band, not doing K-pop at all, but we loved some of the melodies there. They were very catchy and universal. So we took one of those very popular K-pop music videos, which had like 500 million views online, and we covered the song. And this was also before covers are prevalent. Covers are a great way to, I think, establish and build your audience as a musician. But that video for us just went viral.
It was bad. It was not a good video either, just by the way. So if you were like, let's call it, like, or if you're afraid of shooting remember that video?
Oh my God. Yeah, we wore a lot of makeup. We had a makeup artist who just like caked on makeup for us. Yeah, we should have used BeGlammed. But K-pop, if you know, they have pretty natural toned down makeup. And then everyone online was calling us lady boys.
And, like, it was bad.
But it was great. No, it was great
good.
because a controversy just caused way more views. There were message boards of hundreds of people arguing if we were lady boys.
Yeah, we were like, they're men. No, they're women. They're men. They're like, oh, what? That was amazing.
And we're like, oh, you're just giving us
It's a
more
new
views
genre,
for me.
lady boy band.
Yeah.
Lady boy bands. But yeah, it goes to show that, like, we never knew, like, we were like, we want to be this. Like, I was a metalhead, like, crazy metalhead. Like, well, I want to play metal guitar for pop music. And then, like, and Kaila was into pop. And, like, we tried to do this, like, we did our own music. And we did, like, metal mixed with, like, dubstep and, like, some pop music, too. But then we discovered K-pop. And I'm like, I don't know what K-pop is. I know nothing about it. But because Kaila had this awesome newsjacking mentality, we did something that I was like, oh, I don't want to do this, and it blew up. And then because we opened up ourselves to possibilities, so that's another thing I want to touch on, is that never assume you know who your audience is. Never, ever assume. Just because you think you know, it doesn't mean that you know, because we had no idea. I thought, man, I'm going to be a metalhead, I'm going to play the metal guitar. But no, we ended up playing at hundreds of anime conventions. And it even opened us up. It's so weird. It's the craziest thing. And we didn't even know that our audience we thought, okay, US. No. It ended up being that we had a huge audience in South America. So then we got flown out to play at Costa Rica at the National Stadium there for an anime convention. It was the weirdest thing. But
Did you wear
know.
the heavy makeup?
No, scarred for life. But you never know. Like, so it's good to, again, go back, test your audience. Never assume you know what they want. Try different things. Try things that you may think, oh, this is weird. But hey, I mean, if you're okay with it and it still aligns with your brand, and it may be something a little radical, but you never know, it might catch on.
And something a little more like relevant now, because K-pop is past. Like, what was big? The royal wedding was big pretty recently. Yes. So as a fashion blogger, you can say, here are my top 5 inspired by the royal wedding looks. Or if you're a cupcake baker, you can do royal wedding recipes inspired by that. So yeah, that would be an example of like newsjacking.
And just being timely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. I'd love to hear your thoughts and trends on newsjacking.
Well, they brought up good points about, so I didn't know it was called newsjacking. Thank you again, learning more stuff up here about social media. But what's timely and relevant is going to help drive new engagement for you. So, for example, there's the new film, The Star is Born, with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. And in the film, there's a scene where Bradley Cooper says, take your makeup off, I want to see you. And it's this whole scene with Lady Gaga removing her makeup, but she had these stick-on eyebrows. So, of course, the beauty industry is going crazy about these stick-on eyebrows. So, as a thought, like just sitting around with my team, I said, why don't we get 2 straight men on camera trying to replicate Lady Gaga's eyebrows? And it's also timely for Halloween. And we service a lot of male clients during Halloween who are dressing up, whether they're cross-dressing or whatever, turning into zombies. And it reminds me how much someone who doesn't ever wear makeup, whether you're male or female, doesn't know about the steps that it takes to get like a full look, especially something where your eyebrows are drawn on. So it's being relevant. And just like Glow, when Glow, the TV show, came out on Netflix in June, every brand was working with Glow. All of these parties around Hollywood were happening with Glow. They did a collaboration with MAC Cosmetics, and it was big news. And everything on social media was how to get the beauty looks from Glow, replicating the outfits. It was a big trend. It was only a few months ago, but right now, if we were to post something about Glow, the only way we could tie it into everything else is because Halloween's coming up and it could be a costume idea. Otherwise, it would be old news and it wouldn't be very relevant. So there's some things that you can do to drive new engagement that, like, we don't always post photos or tutorials, let alone featuring two straight men putting on eyebrows. But it's going to be hilarious. We did one with our senior director of marketing, and he never wears eyeliner, and he tried to do it on himself, and it was hilarious to watch him do it. Then I went online and looked up, okay, has there ever been videos? And there was a video I believe Pop Sugar put out with a group of straight men trying to do eyeliner, and it had millions of views. And I was thinking, okay, the eyebrows, this is going to be it for us. So stay tuned for the eyebrow video.
How about you, Gaelen? Any trends and insights?
No, not. I mean, I wanted to ask a question. I assume
Please.
with Newsjacking, right? First of all, you have a very dedicated marketing executive there. He deserves some appreciation. But with Newsjacking, I would just say I think that hashtags are a huge part. If you're gonna, comment or do posts around current events, memes always do amazingly well. If it fits your brand around current events, and then also, utilize this. That's an especially great time, I think, to utilize hashtags, correct? Just around those current events, so you're kind of, as people are searching Bradley Cooper or Lady Gaga or A Star Is Born or something, you have a chance to be part of that conversation.
I also have a really quick tip, because with the newsjacking thing, you have to do it really fast and be as relevant as possible. So you kind of have to be ahead of the trend. One way to do that real easily is that every day is a national holiday of something. And that calendar, you can look at, the year of everything, like best donut day or best...
Today's National Boss Day. By the way, happy National Boss Day, bosses.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But yeah, look a month ahead, see if there's something relevant to your story.
More hacks. What are some, what kind of tools do y'all use? Like any apps or tools to optimize content creation or amplification or reach?
There's some posts that we'll use 3 different apps to just achieve one objective. There's a certain filter we might like on one app, but then you can, like Kira with the sparkly, glittery things that catches everyone's attention, we'll use that. So there's some times that we'll use multiple apps just to throw up one post. And then there's times that the photo's just epic and there's nothing that we do and we just
What's like the best app that's gold?
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't live without one or the other. For me, there's no choice. You guys might probably know some better ones.
What about you guys, Kaila, Kiki?
Oh gosh. Just to preface that, it may seem like a lot of information, and especially if you're just starting out and you don't really know anything about shooting on cameras or anything. Don't be discouraged, because you can shoot everything on your smartphone. For example, we just started working with brands and we knew nothing about video. We first started out with this amazing tool called Wondershare Filmora. I think it's like $40, but it is the best thing in comparison to Premiere, Adobe Premiere, or what's the other one? The Apple version, Final Cut. Yeah, this Wondershare Filmora does everything. It gives you all of these pretty high quality editing tools, but half the weight, and it's really easy. A little bit better than your standard iMovie. So if you wanted to do videos on there, shoot them on your phones. We shoot everything on our phones. It's crazy the type of content that you can get from your iPhone. And if the content's engaging enough, then you're good. Another thing is I have several clients that I run and help with their digital marketing and social media. So having these tools on your phone, I actually prefer using this editing tool on my phone. It's called Enlight app. It's life-changing. I think it's like $3.99. And the amount of editing that you can get on that app is like, to me, I have Photoshop at home, but I'm like, I'm gonna use my Enlight app instead.
Why Enlight?
It's the craziest thing too, because especially if, you know, Photoshop's intimidating. It's got all these little buttons and you're like, dude, I don't know what this is. Like, which I just recently found out that those are actually replicating what in an actual darkroom is. So, well, I don't know, I've never been in darkroom. But Enlight is cool because you can do all of those types of high quality editing, but it's all like kind of dumbed down in a sense, and it's made very easy. So they've got the filters, yeah. A lot of apps have filters, but these filters I live by, because you could get like the same effect that you do in a long time on Photoshop just by adding one of these specific filters. You can even do like layers on there if you want to get kind of crazy. Like you can put your head here, and you have two heads if you wanted to. If you wanted, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I urge you to just download it and take a look. And it can make, you know, a pretty low quality image look pretty high. We even have, Kaila knows this service, which is amazing. Like if you're just like, heck no, I don't want to deal with it. There is a service, what's the service called?
Self-made.
Self-made. Okay, this is great because you're like, to heck with it, I'm just gonna send this off to someone to edit. And they do the most immaculate edits for your images too. It does cost you a little bit, but it's worth it. You can send them like 30 images or something, and they'll pro edit it. Like we have a friend that his niche is like, again, that anime scene. He's like got pink hair. He's super bubbly and cute, and his images look like so high quality. Like he looks like he is in an anime. So like you can get to like that, or you can get, you know, just a nice image of you, or like if you say you go to visit somewhere, you're traveling, and someone stood right next to you in the photo, you're like, oh my gosh, get that guy out of here, and then they could just edit him out too, which is kind of cool. So there's like, you know, those are pretty good tools, I'd say. Filmora, Enlight, and Self-Made.
How about you, Gaelen? Do you have any?
I'm not a content creator, honestly. I have creators that work for and with me, but I'm more so, I like like your Hootsuites and stuff like that for more of the executing, because I'm big on stockpiling. You know, like I think like we've talked about the need to consistently post content, and I love, let's talk from an Instagram standpoint, I love that your timeline is really now a space to really do thoughtful, curated kind of storytelling, and then Insta Story is kind of your day-to-day. And so I'm a big fan of stockpiling content weeks ahead of time, if not months ahead of time, and building out your next few weeks or few months of storytelling across YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then going into an app like Hootsuite, which I think is like $40 a month or something like that, but it allows you to schedule all of your posts. The one frustrating thing is that it doesn't automatically post for you to Instagram. Instagram doesn't, their current API doesn't allow for it. They'll notify you when it's time to post, but you'll still have to get up at 6 in the morning if you have a 6 a.m. post because you want the UK to see it or whatever, and actually push publish. But I think that's an incredible tool, right? Because to me, the biggest mistake creators make is that you move too much off of emotion. And so you make a piece of content, new song, new video, whatever, and you get super excited and you think, oh, this is the one, this is gonna go viral, this, and then, you know, and you put it out. And if it does go viral, amazing. You have nothing to follow it up with to create the momentum you need. If it doesn't go viral, you're even worse off because now you still have nothing to follow it up with, right? And the whole point of our ability, I mean, we're at the most interesting time oh, sorry, I told the front of house guy I wouldn't do that. We're in the most interesting time ever in e-commerce in the world, because we can literally push upload on several platforms and have global distribution. The ability to tell our story on a global level and compete with the big boys every single morning, no matter what level you're at. So I'm so big on stockpiling content. Define the story you're gonna tell over weeks or months, and put that in something like a Hootsuite on a content calendar and stay consistent and start growing a snowball effect of momentum. And so then you can play chess in the market from your keypad or from your phone every single day while you're building the next week's or month's worth of content. But stay ahead of the curve. Like she said, look up the calendars. What are the holidays that are coming up? Yes, and there may be viral moments that you have to capitalize on, but it's like, how much better is it to have to scramble one day out of a month versus every day of a month, And so I'm just super, super big on that thought process of really building a vision, And I work with some of the biggest music camps in the world, and, it's amazing to talk to the various camps, and you can realize, like, you can go. I remember I sat down with T-Pain's agent years back, and I was a young manager at the time, and I was like, whose camp do you really admire, and this and that? And he said, I actually really admire T-Pain's management team, because their entire year, they're already 12 months out, their calendar is built. They're building a calendar for the following year. Their releases are planned. Their tours are planned. All these things are already in place, And it's like, you hear about, like, Steve Jobs he knew before, when he died, Apple knew what they were going to release for the next 5 years. And that's just a reality of what we're competing against. And it's cool, like, you could be still thinking about what you're going to post tomorrow, but now you can go home and say, okay, day by day, I'm going to extend that, because your only competition is yourself. You just got to be the best you tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, and continue that journey and the ups and downs that come with it. But anyways, Hootsuite or something of the likes, and stockpile content, stay ahead of the curve.
Hootsuite's great if you're just building your brand, and if you can't afford to hire an agency to manage your social media, your ads, and all of that, if you need it, Hootsuite's great. There are the limitations that are annoying to deal with, but that's kind of how each app and company monopolizes what they do and has a competitive edge. But we used Hootsuite early on for almost the first full year, and it really helped us get on track, especially being like a new business owner and new to social media. It kind of trained me to know, okay, I need to pre-plan. And even if we didn't stockpile the photos, what we did have was a calendar of what we needed to post and wanted to post each day. So we might want to post the most hottest lip color of the season. We might not have the photo that we want to post, but a few days before, we'll start trolling on Instagram and find what is everybody wearing right now, and then we'll plug that photo into what we already knew. And that's kind of your social media strategy. And coming from also a really big brand like MAC Cosmetics, we would do this stuff 2 years in advance. We knew who we were working with celebrity-wise 2 years before a collection would come out. And I worked on the Rihanna collection and helped design a lot of the colors, and I worked with Ree for 2 years. And that whole time, it was like a phenomenon when it first came out, but it was 2 years in the works before we finally got there. And it was constant meetings, and are you loving this color? And then we'd have to change the texture of the lipstick, and there's so much that goes into it ahead of time. But what we did know was when we were ready to launch it, we had to do X amount of social media posts. She had to do X amount of posts. We knew that we had to do all these events and stores, so we had to pre-plan and pre-strategize that 2 years out, even though we didn't have the content yet to work with.
You touched briefly on ads. So businesses who build brands, they'll place ads, obviously. What about people who are trying to build a brand? Is it a faux pas to place an ad for a musician or a content creator?
We are so about Facebook ads. Let me tell you, Facebook ads are a gold mine for building your brand. It is crazy what you can do with a Facebook ad about reaching people that you never knew you could have reached, or people that that you never knew would be interested in your brand. So like one time when we were in India, we were doing a lot of India images and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm gonna boost this post for $5. And then it got like 10,000 views or something crazy, because it $5 went a long way. It's kind of a little trick for you guys. Well, behind the scenes is that if you boost to India, you get a lot of Try it. I swear. Just go on there and you're like, hey guys.
They may not understand what the hell you're saying, but
Yeah,
you'll get
but
a lot of views.
They might really like, that's just a little, and it's through, it's totally legit. It's through Facebook. You're paying for the ad, and for some reason, India is very, very interactive. They're really, really cool over there. But yes, the great thing about a Facebook ad is if you dissect it down, it's a little bit intimidating at first, but what it can do is it allows you to understand who your audience is. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about is like, well, how do we actually execute it? So to find out who your audience is, you can actually put, like, say you are a musician, you got like a cool guitar video you just posted, and you're like, okay, well, who the heck wants to listen? So you can say all people in the United States, all ages, and run the ad, put a little bit of money in it, and see where it goes. And that can give you an idea of, hey, I thought I was supposed to be targeting, males between 15 to 25, but actually I've got a huge following of females between 23 to 30 or something. And then it really is like, oh, it's a kind of an enlightening experience. Mm-hmm. And then you can keep testing things through Facebook ads. It does cost a little bit of money, but again, $5 can get you 10,000 views sometimes if you never know, depending on how you use it. And like the detailed targeting goes to demographics. You can even go in and say like, well, I did a cover of, I don't know, Blink 182 or something like that. And you could be like, fans of Blink 182, and target that audience right there. Boom. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like built in for you, And then by that, maybe say you don't get a lot of like interactions, you don't get a lot of likes from it, but there's something called brand awareness that's extremely important with any collaborations that you do with brands or with any of the work that you're doing. And by being consistent with your brand, what your voice is, and also consistently putting your content out there, you're inevitably doing brand awareness for yourself. So say a friend of yours from high school, it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's Judy up to? She's like, oh, there's a post of her. Okay, well, cool. And I'm scrolling through my feed. Oh, there's Judy again. Scrolling through my feed. Okay, Judy's here again. What is Judy up to? Then she clicks on to Judy's profile, and boom, you've got somebody that's interacting with you. So consistency will allow you to get brand awareness. Facebook ads help a lot, and it also can open up doors to new audiences that you may not know you had.
How about,
just to close on Facebook, Facebook is one of the few platforms that allows you to boost a post or an ad with any amount behind it. Instagram's minimum is about $2,500 to start Instagram ads, and it's significantly more expensive. And I just had this conversation today with my team about should we start doing more Instagram ads. And Instagram also tells you your conversions, and so does Facebook. And we know that what it costs for a client just to click on our ad in Instagram may be a few $100s versus $12 that it cost us to boost an ad in Facebook. So you kind of learn more about your client demographic, and like she said, like you can track who's following you, who's interacting. And Facebook now, this is going to be great for any of you brand owners out there, Facebook now has a new email trigger. So if someone clicks on your ad, it captures the email for you. So historically, you can get the demographic of where they are, the geotag and all of that, but you wouldn't be able to capture that phone number or the email address at all. But now Facebook has, if you pay an elevated cost behind your boosted posts and ads, now we're capturing the email address, and then we go into our what's called a drip campaign in Salesforce. I don't want to get too complicated, but you create marketing campaigns and email campaigns to all those new email addresses that you just captured, and you know exactly what post they clicked on or engaged with. And then we know that, okay, if it was a bride that might have clicked on one of our ads, then we're going to dump her into our bridal marketing campaign and start targeting her for emails around marketing. So as a content creator, you can do the same thing using the analytics on the back end with Facebook, which is not surprising to hear that works really well for you guys.
I would say another thing to piggyback off that is if you have collected emails, say you played a show and collected 100 emails over a course of time, what's really, really valuable in Facebook ads is creating lookalike audiences. So you can put those emails, upload them into your Facebook ad, and Facebook knows everything about everybody because every time you click something, they're gathering information about you. So they can take those 100 people and make 5,000 more similar people. And it's not a huge cost either.
Facebook ads is the best thing you could do, bar none, with small budgets for marketing. bar none. If you are a musician and you have a music video and you've spent all your money on, because we also do that and make those mistakes. We spend all our money on the content and have nothing to make sure people see it. You take the video, and if you put a few $100s into Facebook ads for anywhere from a half a cent to 2 cents per view, you can drive serious levels of awareness around your new content. I had an artist that we spent $500 per month on Facebook ads around a release of his, and in 2 months we drove 9,000 people to our iTunes store. Best Buy would have been happy to have 9,000 people come through its doors in 2 months. You know what I mean? And that is a huge stat. And again, make sure your first 7 seconds mean something of your videos. Use video content. Surprisingly, the polished, sexy video stuff that we do doesn't do as well as the stuff that just looks like it's behind the scenes of actually seeing what the artist is going through and the emotion of developing a career. But you want to spark curiosity and get them back to your ecosystem, you know, and that's why it's, again, important to have consistency in your posts and things like that, so people have a chance to actually become a fan. I loved what you said about someone could see, oh, what's Helena doing? Oh, Helena posted. Oh, yeah, okay, great. Hope all's well, Helena. And then something else comes up. Wait, Helena's serious today, but okay, see you later, Helena. You know, and then that third time, okay, what the fuck's going on with Helena, right? And that's the same way with discovery of a brand. I mean, and I come up in the CD era, and like Alicia Keys comes out. Yeah, Alicia Keys comes out with a new single, right? Her first single ever, Fallen. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not really an R&B guy, but yeah, she's cool, whatever. I kind of like the video. Okay, great. Then her second single comes out, and I really like it, and I'm going to pick up my Jay-Z CD. That's the moment that I get hooked. It's like, oh, wait, that's the second time I've liked what this new girl does, and her CD is now at the register when I go to pick up my Jay-Z. I got a date tonight. I might as well get this too. You know? But it's the mentality of the consumer hasn't changed, right? I love there's a saying, principles are timeless, techniques change, you know, but it is repetitive branding. It is sparking curiosity, but man, that Facebook ad is so crucial. I don't think there's ever been a means of advertising for so cheap. And then, you know, I think it's likely, like.ly, that if you're in the music space or any space, like for me as a music executive, I need to drive people. I don't know if you have Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, SoundCloud. I don't know what your preference is, right? But luckily, there's this likely, I'll double check, I'll check my text message, but I think that's what it's called, allows you to create a little splash page that has your album artwork and then links to all different platforms. So when someone clicks on the link in my advertised Facebook ad, they go to a splash page that has one click away from wherever you like. If you want to listen to me on Spotify, if you want to listen to Apple Music, if you want to listen on Amazon, we got you right there. And then Bitly or smart URLs are great for tracking where the consumers are coming from. But yes, and in that 500 we spent per month, we also started driving 1,200 new followers per week. Okay, 1,200 new followers per week on Facebook, or new page likes per week on Facebook, and that's like, you know, and that's that ability of saying, okay, I want to target people that like Alicia Keys and Halsey and whoever your target demo is, but you can target kids that like those artists. And if you do that, whether it's music or any other brand, find small brands that you think people that like XYZ brand will also like you. Don't always go to the superstar don't always go MAC Cosmetics, right? Go to the smaller makeup brand or whatever, because those are the diehard consumers. In music, right, those are the kids that are like, they feel like they're A&Ring your project. They love to find you when you only have 1,000 followers because they want to be there at 1 million so they can go tell their best friend, I told you so. You know, you want those I told you so fans are the ones that will make you. So target against artists or brands that are small and on the come up, who people who like them will also like you.
And on the brand side, what I would do is I would work with Interscope Records, Capitol Records, all of the labels, and when they had newly signed an artist, specifically a female artist, and actually a lot of rock bands too, they would bring them to me and say, all right, we're redesigning their look. How can you help us? And it's kind of cool to see them grow. I remember right after Instagram came out, there was an artist named Jasmine V, and she was, 17 at the time, but she had this mega following on Instagram because she was in one of Justin Bieber's videos. She gets signed, I can't remember which label it was, I want to say maybe Capitol Records, and her agent comes to me and says, she's young, we need a look for her that's going to speak to her audience, but not overage her, because makeup can easily do that for someone young. Can you help us create the look? So I would help with the brand development of the artist, creating their look. Actually, cool story. I was at the Mac store the day that Lady Gaga walked in. She didn't even have a manager. And she said, I'm playing at this underground bar in LA. Can you help me with my makeup? And the makeup artist that was in the store with me goes, well, what do you want? She goes, something wild and crazy, and draws a thunderbolt on her face. Little did we know that was going to be, and at the time, nobody knew who Lady Gaga was. And then 5 years later, she's hiring me to work on her music videos, and I'm doing makeup on her shoots. And it's just, you never know who's going to walk in the door. But what I can say is, like, growing with a new artist. Oh, and then if you follow Matte Cosmetics, we did all the BeGlammed campaigns with Lady Gaga, so all of that came full circle. And for her, she's like, this is my dream come true. Same with Rihanna, this is my dream come true. So you never know at what stage you might be entering somebody's career or their life, and how that's gonna come full circle years later. And you are right there to have like a big impact, or to create an icon that you didn't know. And I remember there was somebody in the store kind of giggling, because the store was in Beverly Hills. It's more conservative there. And one of the other shoppers was just kind of giggling like, that woman's never going to be anything. I wish I could find that customer now, because she blew up.
I want to take a quick little pause here. Usually when we do these things, we have like a lot of questions that the audience wants to ask. I want to have plenty of time for Q&A. Can I get a show of hands? How many people have questions for the panel? If I open it up? I see about 10. That's it? Like 10 questions? All right. This gives me a gauge of how much time we should leave. That said, I want to talk a little bit. You guys mentioned something about a drip campaign, and you didn't want to get too far into it because that is a rabbit hole. That's an entire conference by itself.
Actually, it is. Salesforce has a whole conference in San Francisco.
Absolutely. Salesforce, there's HubSpot. Vezt uses Close. There's a lot of different CRM tools, customer relationship management. It's literally a way to take 1,000 contacts and then organize them into how often you should hit them up, or remind yourself when there's a birthday or something like that. Do you guys use CRM for social media? And should people who are aspirational brand builders use CRM, or is that too soon?
Well, absolutely. So a lot of the times there's this, I always talk about how when we're first emerging influencers or trying to make it, or maybe influencers but getting stuck, plateaued, you have to get over that fear of doing the pitch or going out and it's like trying to achieve what you want. So maybe Facebook ads might sound intimidating. Just try it. Just go for it. Put $5 in and see what works. If it doesn't work, then you're pretty much there at square one. And that's what we say a lot about pitching to brands or pitching to anything, even if you're gonna go out for a job or whatever. But we use something that kind of alleviates that fear. And it's something called
Lemlist.
Lemlist.
I thought it wasn't a CRM.
Well, it's a part of
How do you spell
CRM,
that?
the umbrella.
Lem, like L-E-M, list. And you never want to reach out to a brand with like MailChimp or something, because that looks like a mailing list and it's
don't
still
do that.
like not personal. So first of all, identify the brands that you are in love with and align with your brand. And we use this app or program called Lemlist, which does follow-ups. So why it's awesome is that when we're reaching out to brands, they don't usually get back to us off the first email. And do you really remember if you're reaching out to 10 or 20 brands to go and follow up and have to go check on that? That's kind of tedious. So we just punch those emails of the brands that we love into this program, and they'll send out the initial email from your Gmail. So it looks like any normal email. And then you can set it to follow up 7 days later, 3 days later, whatever it is. We always follow up at least 3 times minimum, and we might even increase that because everyone gets deluged with emails all the time. But what's really, really awesome about this app and super fun is that they have this GIF thing. So I love cats. Kiki loves cats. A lot of people love cats. So there's this GIF inside this program which says like, oh, hi, I see you haven't replied yet. I'm so sad. And it sends it, it's silly. It sends this GIF. Yeah, it's personal. It says like, hi, Linda. I'm so sad you haven't, whatever the message is. It doesn't matter. Tweak the message to what works for you. But I get so many replies off that GIF from like cat lovers. Like, I wasn't going to respond, but this cat GIF just got me. So if you can write something cute and funny or just use this app, that's a great way to reach out. But most importantly off that, it's the follow-up. Don't be afraid of rejection and just keep knocking on the doors.
So I could probably talk all night about creating drip campaigns and all of this in Salesforce, but what I'm hearing is third time's a charm. And that's actually a true statistic. Write it down. Third time is a charm. Facebook, we found and we spend over $100,000 a month on marketing on Facebook alone. And what we found is that somebody finally clicks on the ad after viewing it 3 times. Then we take it to our digital agency and we're like, okay, wow, this magical number 3. And then they go, oh yeah, that's normal. That's the algorithm. It's the third time they see it. So it's what's called top of the funnel. For us, it's our clients, but top of the funnel means they're just seeing you, they're interested, but they don't intend to actually need your services or hear your music, or they're not intending to actually take that next step to interact with the brand. So it's called top of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel clients are going to be your actual converted clients, or the actual users that go and download your song, or they like and engage with your photos. The bottom of the funnel clients, those are the ones that you are looking at to say, okay, who are these people who are actually clicking on the ad and maybe for us booking BeGlammed services? But top of the funnel, you're going to spend a lot of money just getting brand awareness out there, and those clients are not going to actually, or those viewers are not going to actually click on your profile or your ad until the 3rd time around. So it's constantly pumping them with content until finally they go, okay, what's going on? Let's click on it and see. And then it opens them up to like really be interested. They're ready to receive the information about your brand or who you are by that 3rd click. And then when it comes to creating drip campaigns, again, Facebook now has the email capture. So what we do is we look at those bottom of the funnel users that have clicked on our ads and say, okay, all of these people have X, Y, and Z in common. Salesforce allows us to take all of those email addresses we've collected in Facebook, and it automatically migrates it over to Salesforce, which is what we use as our marketing tool for email campaigns and a way for us to manage how we interact with our users once we capture their information. And even from that, we've seen a drip campaign is a series of emails that you're going to plan to send out. And it's basically telling a story over time. So we may create a bridal drip campaign. And I'm using bridal because it's easier to understand, right? Because there's going to be a bachelorette party and an engagement dinner, and there's an announcement, and then there's the rehearsal. So we know those are all opportunities for that bride to book BeGlammed because she wants to look her best for all of those occasions. So we capture her email, we see she's engaged. All right, we start pumping out this drip campaign to her and other users like her. And then eventually she calls us and she books us for an appointment. Then we can go back to Facebook and we can see how much money we spent on her on Facebook for her to click our ad, how much time it took her to actually book with us. And all those analytics are coming from Salesforce and from Facebook. So if you're a brand owner, Salesforce is affordable for any brand because you pay based on the volume and the size of your business and how much information you're pumping out and all of that. And once you find that sweet spot of what's working for your brand, then you just go 100% and start killing it. But we wouldn't have any of that user data unless we are tracking all of our analytics in Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. So all of these companies start working together, and that's why Instagram buys Facebook, and they start converting clients over multiple platforms, which adds value to you as a content creator and to the brands.
Gaelen, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was awesome. I've learned so much from you guys. Thank you. But I was just going to say, I do love the Facebook, Facebook's ability to gather emails and phone numbers for you now. And then there's an app that Ryan Leslie created, who's like a producer / nerdy genius kind of guy, but it's called Superphone. And it's an amazing SMS. It's, I think it's $9 a month, but it's an amazing way to keep in touch with your fans through SMS. And, my friend manages this getting pretty established rapper Joyner Lucas. And they built Joyner on Facebook ads. He made very, great music and great video components to that music. He built it and told a great story, but they utilized Facebook ads to grow his following and get him to a space where he got his record deal and, yada, yada, yada. But they were always, my buddy Drew was a kind of a techie hacker type, and he was running the Facebook ad campaigns, and he was pulling data and running and getting people's phone numbers, and he's built up this 100,000 plus of people's phone numbers. So when they drop a piece of content, he can literally text, and within 1 hour that video is boom, 100,000. Because these are super fans. These are the people at the bottom of the funnel that are there for it. Like, they got you, And that is, that's the thing. It's like the 80-20 rule, and even less than 20%. But that, 5 to 20% is going to keep your lights on.
I want to talk, shifting gears a little bit. I want to talk about buying followers and buying likes. Do you do that? Should you do that? How do you do it? What's the ratio? Like, if I buy 1 million followers, probably not a good look, but maybe I can buy 10,000. Like, what's the strategy here?
For a brand, when we first launched, I was like, oh my gosh, well, we can't do partnerships unless we have a lot of followers. So at first, we did buy followers, and the number grew so quickly overnight that I was like, nope, shut it off. This is scary. Because I knew we weren't going to get the engagement on the post. So we tried it for about a week, and I was like, we can't do this anymore. We look phony. And then that's when we decided we're just going to grow our followers. And we don't have a ton of followers. For being a boutique brand, I would say we're probably right in line with the others. But we just focused on what our users wanted. But there are apps that are out there, and you guys will probably be able to speak more on this than I can, but there are apps out there that help you get seen by other users, and you're paying for the visibility just like you would pay for an ad on Facebook or Instagram. But what they do is they go in and they help targeted audiences for you see your profile. So and then those people will choose to follow you or not. So you're paying for the service, and I guess that could be viewed as paying for followers, but it's a different algorithm and it's a different program. So if you're using one of those apps, I mean, more power to you, because you're going to get visibility from people who are already interested in your space. But there are also services that you can literally buy followers, like you said, but I don't encourage that you do that.
Are there any apps that you can name off the top of your head where you can get increased visibility?
There's one called Fire. Oh gosh, it'll come to me. But there's one that. So I just started my Instagram for my dogs, and they're getting much more engagement than I am. However, at 200 followers, I was getting blown up by dog brands that make dog food and leashes and I didn't have a lot of followers, but they just enjoyed the content. And so I downloaded this service so that I could get visibility, and I was like, okay, is this going to be like my BeGlammed experience, or I'm just going to like skyrocket my followers, and it's going to be people that aren't really interested? But it really wasn't that at all. I signed up for this service. It was $27 a month, and all of the accounts that started following my dogs' accounts were actually other like Instagram dogs and other animal lovers. So I was happy. I'm like, this is great. This is who I wanted to attract, and it just got me the visibility. So if anybody wants a cute dog Instagram to follow, let me know. I'll give you the name. But those services are great. So, and you can buy likes. I, again, don't suggest that you do that. But if you're using a program that helps you get visibility by a like-minded audience, and they organically like your photo, then that's a different ballgame. Oh, sorry, didn't realize that.
Kyla?
I would just say buying likes is dangerous because Instagram's totally based on algorithms. So say you bought 10,000 followers, but they're not real followers. So when you put a photo up and Instagram's algorithm sees that those 10,000 people are not engaging with your post, it penalizes you and actually doesn't show your next post to more people. So also, your engagement, those 10,000 people are not going to be naturally commenting or liking any of your posts because they're not real.
Yeah, to go off of that, ultimately, I can understand the appeal of trying to purchase followers, is especially if you're trying to create a business. If you are a business and you're like, oh man, some of the brand, like, what are we gonna do if we want to post for collaborations and no one wants to collaborate with 50 followers? But at the same time, in the end, what is your end goal? What do you want to gain from having a social media following? And if you are pitching to brands, and we've seen this many times from some people that, they've started with 5,000 and you see them like, oh, you have 400,000 now, 6 months later. And I'm like, But the problem is here, they're getting some cool brand deals, but what's going to happen in the end? When things get a little bit more transparent about ROI, meaning return on your investment, and that's in terms of brands sponsoring a influencer, and what are they going to get in return? Are they going to make a sale? Are they going to build a relationship with your followers? If your followers are fake, then they're going to build a relationship with bots, which is pointless. And that will get revealed down the line. So yeah, it might get you that quick jump ahead, and you might be able to get that brand deal, but when they ask you, what's your demographic? You're like, well, they're all in Eastern Europe or something, I don't know. And I'm like, that's not gonna really work out. So the best way, I say, if you do wanna invest a little money, there is the way. And you can use Facebook ads, and another little trick if you want, but it's probably not beneficial in the end. You could run ads to different countries. And some people are a little bit more interactive than others, but those are real people. They're real people, so you never know. You could blow up in a foreign country, and you can get some
India.
quick. Yeah, India. India is great.
We have a friend, Alex, who has a huge fan base in India. When he shows up, 100 people come to some remote area of India to see him. So there is some value building an audience there too.
Right. But then again, if you're, say for example, he does live in Texas, so then now he's come to an issue where he's having problems making more brand deals because the brands that he's targeting are in the U.S. and they're like, well, where is your brand? Like, oh, it's in India. It's like, that's great, and they're really diehard. They're amazing. Like one time he showed me his analytics. He got 700 clicks when he shared my he was like, here, I shared your photo. Here, they clicked 700 times to see who you were. I was like, I love you. This is amazing. He had 36,000 followers. So yeah, they're very interactive. But in the long run, is it going to benefit you in the end? Probably not. So if you're going to pay, that is the absolute best way. Engagement, engagement, engagement. Because people want to, even if you have a silent follower that's like, oh man, I really like this artist, or I really I think he's really cute, or I think she's super cute. And then your engagement bot that you paid for, it sends a like over to them. Like, oh my gosh, they like my photo. And they go back and then they start interacting. That's more genuine than just buying flat out fake followers, because it's not going to do you any good in the end.
I want to talk about one more topic, and then let's open it up for questions. Have y'all ever heard of the King Sumo campaign?
Very specific. But well, there's a quick hack that we like to do, and this brings us back to what you were saying about having a website. So this is a social media panel. We're talking all about social media. Social media is vital to your brand or influence. But you have to have a place where you own your content and your viewers can go in case Instagram does go away one day. So it's really important to be collecting email addresses and phone numbers now, even more important. So with the King Sumo hack, it's an app that we use. And just quickly, it's a quick way to kind of gather email addresses and Instagram follows. So as an emerging influencer, you might want to reach out to a brand who's willing to give you something for a giveaway, $50, $100. Maybe you even just go buy something, $50, $100 to give away to your audience. So you have to have a website for this to run. So you would post this giveaway on your website and then email it to your 10 people or whatever, your 10 closest friends. But the way it goes viral with this app is that there's a social sharing element involved. So basically, if the viewer wants to gain 5 more entries, they follow you on Instagram, or they follow you on Twitter, or they click on this link to the brand. And yeah, we had a campaign where we did a giveaway for some like facial product for $300, and we gathered 1,000 email addresses and got 1,000 followers for our accounts and the brand's accounts. So that's a great way to promote a brand you're working with also.
By the way, if anybody wants to talk to a brand that wants to do a giveaway right now, that company is called Vezt. It's the world's first blockchain music rights marketplace where fans can buy fractional ownership of any song from any artist and earn royalties along with that artist. So musicians are empowering your fan base, turning them into partners, and you're all monetizing together.
It's almost like crowdfunding
In a sense, but you're getting equity in the you're getting that royalty stream. I want to shout out Robert Menendez, who's in the house. I'm not sure where he's at, but he is the founder. He's the founder of Vezt. We love you. Vezt is willing to gift you $50 worth of Vezt credit for all of your fans who want to sign up on Vezt and then sell IP. So if you want a brand deal right now, come talk to Robert. Go find him. He's probably running away, but he'll negotiate. It's up for negotiation. With that said, let's open it up for questions. Right after we give everybody a round of applause for our fantastic panelists. Man, love you guys. Appreciate you. Big shout out to Hint Water, Paul Palacios. Love you, Paul, wherever you are. Musicians Institute, and of course our title sponsor, Vezt. And then if we could get the question line started over at either one of those microphones.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Does that mic need to be turned on?
Hello, hello.
And if we could do one question at a time.
Just one question.
Talking to the mic, 1 inch from the mic, please.
I'm a real estate appraiser, and I'm starting my business. Would this social media, Instagram things work for real estate appraisal?
Absolutely. Actually, one of my friends, he hosts a TV show, so he already has a name for himself, but he's developing a new app that allows you to scale locations for a film or TV shows. And it allows you to go in and see the landscape and all the blueprints of the property. And then he got piqued interest by a really well-known real estate company, a big one. Mm-hmm. And they then threw millions of dollars at the app and invested in it because now they're using that to sell the houses. And this is all on the app and social media because they're giving buyers essentially an inside look at the property without them having to physically be there. I mean, they're getting blueprints, they're getting scalability, they're getting the landscape, altitude, all of that information, and a 3D tour of it. And he marketed it using Instagram, where videos are hot, right? You have 7 seconds, and it's like you see this amazing property. For real estate, I would say it's got to be high quality photos and videos because these days people are just used to seeing a certain level of.
It's not sales, it's actually appraisals.
Can you talk to the mic?
Sorry, it's not sales. So say you're getting a divorce, and your husband says your house is worth $500,000, but you know better. I'll do the appraisal for the woman, and they'll say, "Oh, it's actually $800,000," or
So you're
an
selling a
estate.
service.
Right.
Oh, totally. Yeah, if you have a service, any one of the social platforms are great for selling services.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Okay,
allows
let's-
you to target. You know, you can target within 50 miles or 100 miles, whatever you want, that radius, and you can target ages. You can target married, not married, income levels, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I got to
Another
figure
thing
out how to
too
do
for
that.
that is with Facebook ads, you don't have to have a page necessarily. You can run an ad as long as you have a website with that you could run an ad essentially through like a page that has like maybe like not that many followers, and then just funnel all the traffic to your website just by using Facebook. So like if you don't even want to deal with like posting the images and stuff, and you just want to get people to look at your business,
Right.
Facebook ads are money.
Yeah, I
right
just
there.
want them to hire me
Yeah.
for jobs.
And then let's take a question over here.
Okay.
And if we could
Thank you.
speed up the responses, not because my butt's falling asleep. I just want to get through all these questions.
This message is for Gaelen. I know you mentioned, well, actually everyone mentioned the one cheater. So I have a two-part question is, if you don't have a contact and you're trying to get an attention of a label or a management or something like that, how do you get your one cheater in front of them? Because DMs don't have like attachments where you could send a Word doc or something like that.
A DM might be a good good entry point just to start interacting with them. A lot of what happens in any industry, really, it's personal relationships and personal connections. And anytime you have a personal introduction, you're already one leg up. But if you don't know people who can do those introductions for you, then it's just a lot of like LinkedIn messaging, DMs, find personal ways to approach the brand to pique their interest.
Yeah, direct messages are great. Always have, private SoundCloud links to, or some sort of private link to unreleased music or, whatever, or video or things like that. But, all in all, for musicians, the name of the game is not finding a label, is not finding a manager. The name of the game is developing a relationship with an audience. And in doing that and starting to tell your story, you'll be so much more self-efficient, and the labels, the managers, the agents, they will start calling you. If you're having to do the reach out and you're in a space of feeling dependent on finding an A&R, finding a manager, an attorney, these types of things, then even if you do find them, you have no leverage when that negotiation begins. And I encourage you guys to put your energy towards finding that producer that is going to help you tell the story better, finding that videographer that's going to help you create content more, and then creating that content and telling your story in the market, and knowing that guys like me and A&Rs, managers, everyone, we're always doing our due diligence and our research in social media and looking for that that cold glass of lemonade on a hot day, that refreshing moment and something new that we can feel like we can see and be like, wow, we can put some steroids on that.
I'd like to expedite these answers a little bit faster. No. Love your words. Hate to do this, but I just want to get everybody a chance to talk. Person in the red.
Hi, I'm a singer, and I've been doing a lot of content for my Instagram right now to try to get more following base. But something that I've been struggling with is that I don't know if I should post more and more about what I'm doing, or if I should focus on how pretty my feed looks, if the colors, they match. So what would you say, is it better to have more posts, be more active about what you're doing, or having a pretty feed that doesn't have as much? Because sometimes, I took a picture yesterday that doesn't fit with my feed, but I think it's cool, but I don't know if I should post it.
I think for the music space, it's a little bit different because you'll be working with different types of brands and different types of deals. But it's definitely a little bit of both. And that's a tricky part with music content, is that you don't want to, it's very difficult for a musician to constantly put out a video every single day of them doing their work. But I would say focus definitely on cohesive feed, because when somebody does approach your profile, that's the first thing they're going to see is how cohesive is this, and can I figure out what exactly it is that you do in your one-sentence bio and your images and your songs. So definitely make sure you're having cohesive feed and a cohesive story that you're telling. And if people are interacting, then keep on doing what you're doing.
And if you have, something exciting that you want to share that doesn't fit your feed, the stories is a great place to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Over here.
Hey, thank you again. You guys are super thorough, and I'm learning a lot. I manage musicians, so I'm constantly reaching out to pitch for corporate sponsorship or influencers, obviously, to build our brand, like you said. And brevity is key, obviously, when pitching. But I always get in my head about whether or not I should have a fully thought out idea to pitch as well, as far as how I find the sponsorship could work out best, or how like the influencer can like help us and how we can help them. But then the pitch becomes longer. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think it is important to approach them with the idea or leave it open to like dialogue, basically?
I wouldn't give away all your cards. Like Gaelen said, don't give up all your cards right away. You want to bait them in, capture their interest. So your initial pitch is everything. It could, like, as a brand owner and even coming from corporate sponsorships, after 2 paragraphs, you lost me. Give me a quick one snap about who you're promoting, what they stand for, and what your objective is. Don't pitch me what you want to do with us. You first have to get your foot in the door with that brand. And then once you're in there, go out to lunch, take them to coffee, and while you're there, that's when you start shooting the ideas around. But there's also there's a delicate way to do that too. If you come off too salesy, it might turn them off. So it really has to be thought out, like you said, but you can shorten it because once you're finally in front of them, that's your moment to pitch to them or get them on a phone call or something.
Gaelen, I think you'd be great to add color to this.
Cool, yeah. First off, send your email. I've got a client that's a perfect fit for you. 1 sheet attached, I'd love to discuss. Like almost that short and sweet. And then when you get the moment to have the discussion, ask the brand what their focus is. What is their priority? You know, you go in and you pitch your grandiose idea and they're like, that's cool, we're nowhere near that.
Yeah, and lead with that.
Yeah, ask them what their goals are, what their needs are content-wise for the next 12 months. And then have your ideas ready. Have your ammunition ready, you know? But you can, then once you find that information, you can curve your idea to fit what her needs are, you know? And then another thing, when you guys are taking meetings, once you get a yes, shut the fuck up.
That's literally the best advice ever.
Seriously.
There are so many people who oversell once the deal's closed, and then they talk themselves out of it.
Yeah, or play another song or whatever. Like, leave.
All right, the person in the denim.
Hello, my name is Stephanie. Thank you for being here. I'm learning
Can you speak
a lot.
closer?
I'm learning a lot. So, I love to travel, and I saw that 15 to 20% of my followers actually like and comment a lot more when I do travel or I'm somewhere other than home. But when I travel by myself, I hate asking people to take a picture for me. Can you recommend a great travel camera for selfies and what best angles?
We love that stuff. I love that stuff.
Right.
There is this little handheld stabilizer that is like a knockoff of the real thing, but it's on Amazon. It's $100. It's called ZHIYUN. I don't know how to say that, but it is
Zune.
Zune
Train.
Yeah. I think it's a knockoff of like the Zoom maybe, or is it something not.
It's like a DJI knockoff, I think.
Yeah, exactly. $100 on Amazon. We have 2 of them, and you can create high quality videos with your phone. That's what we do, and we've done this with some pretty household name brands, and it works well. So that, and especially I went to Croatia by myself on a sponsored trip, and so what's it called? The GoPro is great too because it gets really long. You can buy little extensions, and it gets really long that shoots like 4K, you know, up to like super high if you want to do slow-mos. And also, depending on how you brand yourself, selfie stuff is great. You know, you can, if you create the right story, you can do an entire selfie video and get a lot of interaction.
And then let's get a question on this side.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shanice. I'm a professional snowboarder. I work really hard on my social media, YouTube, Instagram, all that. I'm constantly working on it. And I've built my channels to the point where I know they have marketing value. And when I talk to brands, a lot of brands will reach out and say, hey, we'd love to send you this. But I know like that $12 product is not equivalent to the like $300 value I will give you of, you know, all the people who then contact me asking me about that brand and stuff. But I feel awkward trying to bring up money in conversations with brands, and I don't know how or when to say like, yeah, your product's great, but you know, this is my job and I need this amount of money.
It's hard to advocate for yourself. I've been there. As a freelance makeup artist, it's really hard if you don't have a manager or an agent. I know there's some other agents in the room who can speak to this too. If you have a buffer between you and the money, that's going to be a significant help. It's difficult for some people to advocate for themselves and know your value and know that that $12 product is not worth the $300 that you're putting into it, and the conversions that you're giving them over your audience who's then going to go buy the product. So what I used to do, sounds really almost like psychotic, but early on in BeGlammed, when my team was super, super small, and I was answering all the client phone calls, because I worked out of my apartment, I would answer it as Marie, as my alias. And then if there was a call where someone's like, can I speak to your manager? We have this idea for a brand. I would then say, sure, no problem, hold. Hi, this is Maile, the founder of BeGlammed. So it made it seem like we were bigger at the time and we were a really small brand. So that might be hard to do, but you could, if it's email response, you could just email and have an alias name. But having somebody advocate for you is helpful, even if it's a friend who steps in and says, okay, let me just ask on behalf of you or something.
Let's get a question here.
Hi, my name is Simeon Gid. Oh, my bad, I didn't mean to be so close.
If we can keep the questions to under 15 seconds,
Yeah.
just to quickly go through this.
All right. For new artists, what would be the best way to display our music? More mainstream or more original? Like to get a bigger impact on
What
the
do you mean,
music industry?
mainstream or original?
Like for your music, like a bigger.
I think he means top 40 or indie.
Oh, well, it's actually a good question, but again, your best bet for the long term is to lead.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes you can't control if it's mainstream or it's indie. You've got to have a visceral feeling to it. And when you push play in a room, people have to look up and say, what's that, with curiosity, and not what's that with the stink face. And if you're not pushing a play in a room full of strangers and getting people to say, what's that, you're not ready to put your music out. That's first and foremost. Then, I mean, you know, I just don't encourage. Art is not made to be put in boxes. And if you're making art to say, oh, well, R&B is trending right now, so I'm going to make R&B, then you're playing the game wrong. You know, I don't think any of your favorite artists were ever the person that just made the cookie cutter sound of the moment. Most of your favorite artists led and always came and tried to stretch where they're at. I hear so many people say, oh, yeah, I'm working on stuff for The Weeknd. And it sounds like what The Weeknd was doing last year. And it's like, The Weeknd's not going to do that next year. He's not working on that sound right now. Kanye West ain't working on what he put out last year. You know what I mean? So, I know 15 seconds, but that's my take.
Over here with the hood.
All right. My question is primarily for Gaelen. I notice a lot of labels and executives and managers, they look for a lot of followers, a lot of views, things of that nature. I think probably if Pac and Big were out right now and they had 400 followers, we probably would never heard of them, because that's just how labels are these days. So what numbers do you specifically look for artists? And then when do you make a decision to say, maybe the numbers aren't important because I like this guy's talent, versus like how important are those numbers to you? And what can you do, and what numbers are you looking for specifically?
The people that matter are the people that the numbers don't matter. You know what I mean? Because for where you're at, if you have no numbers, if you make hot shit, there's going to be 3 people in this room that say, yo, I fuck with you, I'm going to help you. And we're going to start getting numbers. I'm going to tell all 100 people I know, you're going to tell 100 people you know, and it's going to build. And then by the time it gets to, maybe comes across someone on my team's radar, maybe you got a couple thousand followers, and it's like, damn, if I put a fucking Facebook budget and some content budget and an Instagram and a Spotify campaign on it, we can win. And we can build this to the point where Interscope's calling us and we can go do a partnership at Interscope. So it's all just, you know what I mean? It's all stepping stones. Be great at your art. Focus at being great at that, and get people that really believe in what you're doing and help champion what you're doing. Get a guy on your team that's down to put eyeliner on and let you record him do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get your eyeliner guy. In all fairness to everybody who's waiting in line, can we keep the actual question to 15 seconds?
I can try.
Next.
I'll give it a solid effort.
Thanks.
So I know we were talking a lot about like focusing in and finding your niche and all of that wonderful advice. If you're someone who is very whatever, I said it wrong, it's fine. But if you're someone who is very like diverse in the different aspects of the industry, like, is it damaging for me if I'm multifaceted, like multi-platform faceted, and I have different brands for those platforms? Does that make sense?
We can definitely relate because we were in a music band, then we did Korean beauty products, then we did travel. And what happens is just test your stuff. Test what resonates the most. Pick the topic that is your strongest and run with that. I mean, or you can ideally split them up into different places, but you want to have a niche that's very, very targeted, no less or no more than 3 different types of things. So I'm like travel, fashion, beauty. That's me. Anything else is eliminated. So yeah, keep it under 3, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Black tea.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name's Jay James. I'm a musician. I wanted to ask, you said Joyner. You said he like sent out one text and he got 100,000 views. What did you mean by that? And you only said Facebook ads. Did he use Instagram ads too?
No, but he through that process over several years, they built a database of emails and phone numbers so that they could always have that access to their core fan base.
Is there any certain apps you guys would recommend for having ginormous group chats? Like hundreds of people, you send one text. And
Well,
it goes
that's
to all
that.
of them.
I said it was Ryan Leslie made an app called
Smartphone?
Superphone. Yeah, look into that.
And then the Kumo or whatever, the other app, what was it called? King Sumo? You can't find it on the App Store. None of us.
It's actually a WordPress plugin, so you do need a website first. So you can just create a standard WordPress website. Yeah.
Okay.
Person in the black leather.
Yeah. Hi. I have a basic question to have a hashtag. So if I upload a picture, let's say of a tree, how am I choosing the hashtag? The one with 5 millions, with 343,000? How many of trees in different versions? How am I doing that smartly, efficiently, that I get seen, get followers?
So I think you can have 30 hashtags, right? I would take advantage of using all of them, but don't put them on the top in your caption because that just, dilutes whatever your message is. I put some periods down so it goes down below. But as for choosing the hashtags, yeah, you could throw tree in there to try. You're probably not, your goal when you put a hashtag is that you want to be featured in those top 8 photos. So you should find something non-competitive like tree in Oklahoma, whatever, like a really specific tree tag. So if it has like 5,000 to 10,000, if you're emerging, that's a sweet spot because you may be able to be one of those featured 8.
I like it. Thank
Over
you.
here.
Hey, my name is Brahma. I manage 2 artists, and I wanted to ask you about, they got verification. Does that change the way you attack, they're looking for an agent right now? Should they make themselves look better than they really are, or should they just still do grassroots after the verification? I just wanted some information about verification.
It depends on who you're targeting to collaborate with. So for us, verification is irrelevant. We don't look at the verification, we look at the engagement.
An agent cares how many people you can put and how many butts you can put in the chairs.
Yeah, I'm more they're more gas because they have it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It feels good, but the grind doesn't stop. Yeah. You just every day you got to get better at telling your story, getting it out there, and figuring out, oh shit, Wichita, Kansas fucks with me. They'll bring me out and I can put seats. I can sell tickets there. I can sell tickets in Arizona. I can't sell tickets in LA. I can't sell tickets in Oklahoma. You got to just use digital marketing to figure out where you can sell tickets. Once you can sell enough tickets, the agents will come to you.
So one last thing, verification can help if your profile name is similar to other profile names, or you have a name that's a common name, because the verification will show okay, this is probably the actual real person that I'm looking for, as opposed to people who have a similar name. So if I'm looking up a brand, there might be 200 profiles that pop up, but I can identify easily which one I'm looking for with the verification. So it depends. Everybody's different, but what I can say, when we go to work with somebody, we don't look for verification.
Person with the denim.
Hi, I'm a publicist, so normally I'm doing more like press media, but recently I got a couple clients that have a lot of social media following, so they're like, hey, can you reach out to this brand for me and see if I can get a deal? And somebody told me that you want to make it seem like they need your client, not that your client needs them. So do you like throw out a price, be like, hey, this is how much they're worth? Or because I remember you said that you asked them what their budget is, but you want to be in control of the deal. So what's your thought of that?
Sometimes there's no money on the table at all, and you just start doing things with brands that you like because you want to eventually be paid, and the monetary aspect of it might come later, so you have to develop a relationship with them. For example, we've been working with Nike for years now. Nike, we did maybe a series of 5 to 10 events with them. We did a pop-up beauty bar in some of their events. And we did that, what's called in kind. They didn't pay us for it. We came out of pocket paying our providers and the setup of the event and all of that. Then they came around and said, we have a $50,000 budget, and we want to do 19 events with you. I was like, okay, this is happening. And then from that, then we used the same programming with Swarovski crystals and now Disney and all of these big brands. And it's because we started out working with them pro bono with no fee, with the intention of getting paid eventually.
Over here.
Hi, my name is Tika, and I decided to create my own reality show, and I'm financially funding it myself. I just recently got on social media 2 weeks ago, and now I have 1,000 followers. What would be the best advice for me?
First of all, that's kick-ass.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Right.
I think utilize that platform every day. Post little snippets of what, and use what he said. Give them a little flavor, but don't give everything away. Show some really radical stuff. I mean, like create some buzz about it. Do something that you would want to see yourself. Try to post those type of contents, and also post every day, same time every day, between 9 and 2.
I just want to add that I think a lot of people would love to produce their own reality show, and I think an audience really likes to see what goes behind that, behind the scenes. People like to see the process, like where did you come up from? What was it like? What were your hurdles? So every day there's new challenges, and you overcome this. People want to see that, I think.
Take a page from Cardi B's book.
Cardi B girl?
Yes, she is.
All right, over here.
Thank
Hi,
you.
My name's D'Angelo. I'm a fashion and...
Speak closer.
My name's D'Angelo, and I'm a fashion photographer and model. I'm new to LA, and my question that I have is, I'm kind of around a lot of like established and sometimes celebrities or upcoming celebrities, and my question, I guess, would be kind of like you were saying with the one sheet on social media, it being a world where we're kind of like wait to talk to them afterwards. I feel like you missed that shot. Do you recommend a standard business card? Is that like played out nowadays? Or like how can you approach a person without them being overwhelmed? Because that's what happens.
When we go to events, we will collect, like whether we spoke to them or not. Like I used to go to NAMM, and I was like trying to get sponsored by different guitar companies. So whether I talked to them or not, I would collect every single business card of whoever the heck was out there. And then since there's like 100,000 people or probably more, they don't remember who they talked to. And I'd be like, hi, it was so great meeting you at the event. I love Marshall amps, but currently I play a PV. What can you guys do for me? Something like that, A smaller event, still grab the cards. Cards are money.
Well, I think he's asking, should I give away the cards?
Well, I do.
Is that the question?
I do. I just want to know if it's...
So I would say, from my
valuable?
experience from 20 years in LA, they'll never call you back if they're that high up. You always have to approach regardless. Be shameless. There's no fear of no. Yeah. You see that dream collab, you go straight up to them. Don't even waste a second. Get their number, however it happens. Like, don't go to jail. Get that number.
That's what I want to know.
Get that number and offer something for free. Do it, like she said. Tell them, I'm new here. I'm an amazing fashion photographer. I've got a vision for you. I want to execute it for free. No worries. Whenever you're ready to do a shoot for social media, I got you.
I'd be like, you're new? All right, I'll give you a shot. You're the best from Oklahoma? Amazing. I want that. Next.
Thank you.
Finish up first.
My name is Lorenzo Reyes, and I own a clothing line independently. I'm starting to build my team. I wanted to know a little bit of insight about partnerships and investors early in the game.
I'm sorry, were you doing what?
Clothing line.
I could tell you all about investors. I had to raise capital, millions of dollars for my app. It's not cheap. What I can say is investors in fashion, it's a really competitive landscape. And just fashion in general is oversaturated. I mean, all industries are, but you have to have something so compelling and gives you a competitive edge and is investable, meaning you have a high scale growth rate. The return of investment is going to be quick for your investors, or are they in it for the long run with you? So you have to first determine when you launch your brand, do I need to raise money? And actually, you just closed on a huge round for a circus app. But first, once you figure out, do I need to raise money, then you have to find what kind of money. Do you want venture capitalist fund? Do you want institutional kind of funds? Do you want a high net worth individual who's going to be an angel and come in? So you have to first determine that before you can think about how much money do I need and what is my brand going to look like? What am I going to do with all that money? So it's a lot of discovery about what you're going to do with that money and have a really compelling story for somebody to put money into you and to your brand.
One thing I want to add to that is you got to know all the data about your business. Who are your competitors? What's your barrier to entry? How much money am I going to make from this $100,000 I'm putting in? What's your valuation? Pre-money valuation, post-money valuation? What are your cost of goods? What's your profit margin? Like, you have to know all of that inside and out.
Value, yeah.
If you have that one meeting with that gold mine investor and you trip, they'll be like, yeah, I'm out. Like, you got to know it inside and out. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right, next.
Thank you.
Hi. Sorry, I'm short. I have a question. So I was wondering what you guys recommend about stage names. Like, should I use my real name or should I pick a stage name?
Well,
What is your name?
Katina
Katina what?
Gerstein.
Okay.
I mean, my name's Kristen, but I go by Kiki. And it was from a name that was given to me in high school. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes you can utilize that stage name and create, like, as a creative person, you can also create your image and the person that you want to be on stage, which is a great way to be even better at what you do if you're doing music, acting, and stuff like that. So,
Do you think people would rather have someone use their real name or have some cool stage name?
I think it just depends on the brand that you're trying to achieve. I mean, if you want to have a more personal feel, yes. If you're going up on stage and you're creating an incredible show, but you want a character to fit that role, then a stage name is awesome.
Think about that artist, Her, H-E-R. She was famous even before she became Her. She grew up on TV and doing competitive shows for music and like elimination type of shows. But when she first came out, she did a cover song of Drake's Into the Jungle, I think. And it was all this hype. Nobody knew who she was. She didn't release her identity. And it wasn't until maybe a year after that people figured out who she was, and it's Gabby. But everyone went crazy. It was all this hype about who she is, and her name is just H-E-R, Her. And now she's getting booked to BET Awards. She performed there, and it was that whole buildup of not knowing who she was, and then she came out finally as herself, and people appreciated her so much more than that. So it really just depends on what you want to do with that, and like make that identity kind of secret, or be who you are and encapsulate that.
I guess from an experiential marketing standpoint, do you have a name that you have in mind?
I use the stage name Aquamarine because that's my birthstone. So.
Aquamarine, that's cute. So whatever you're more passionate about, if it's your real name, go with that. If it's this alter ego, go with that. I remember when I was a kid, I discovered Mazzy Star, and I had no idea what music that was, but I liked the name so much. And then I discovered the music. I was like, the music's not bad either. But I fell in love with that alter ego, so it's up to you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jesse, and I'm an R&B singer. And I made a big mistake. I didn't really build a Facebook, but I focused on other social medias, and I built my Instagram around like 8K and Twitter 3K. Is it worth it to start from scratch right now with my Facebook? Tonight, definitely, okay. That easy, okay. Thank you.
Amazing.
Hi, super happy to be here. Thank you guys. When you guys are dividing, adding your hashtags to your posts, do you guys do like 10 hashtags that have over 20,000 posts and then 5,000, do you guys categorize that? That's my question.
A little bit, but I think more importantly, I'll go and look at the 8 posts. So I'll see the top, because I'm trying to get featured when I do a hashtag.
Yeah.
So I'll look at those 8 posts and I'll go look at the profile, like how many followers does this person have? How many likes are they getting per photo? So say if I have an emerging account and I'm getting 100 likes per photo, but all those top 8 are getting 3,000 likes per photo, I know I can't ever rank on there. But if I find a hashtag with like 1,000 hashtags or something, and everyone there has like 50 likes or whatever, then I know I can probably get on there. So I would base it on that more than the total number of hashtags.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Over here.
Hi, so I was using Instagress for a while to keep engagement ongoing for my Instagram. They got closed down. I actually built 12,000 very loyal followers, and recently, since the algorithm change, I've been getting very low engagement. And do you know how to get out of that like stuckness of Instagram's change?
So unfortunately, apps like Instagram are never going to stick around. They get closed down left and right. Instagram is on it. They're discovering who's doing it. But it's because even if they're loyal followers, they look at your engagement down below and it's like, oh, you had 30 likes on this and then somehow you got 500 likes. And Instagram monitors everything, and they changed the algorithm for that reason. And there was a time maybe 3 or 4 years ago when Instagram changed that algorithm and tons of people lost a bunch of followers. So what I could suggest is if you're really looking to continue growing your following is kind of what I said earlier, which is if you want to use a service, use one that's going to, again, get you the natural followers and the organic likes, and because that's what Instagram did. But those just know that the app's not going to last. Instagram will eventually find it and shut it down.
Okay, but how will I get the people following me now to see my posts? Because I feel like none of my friends are seeing my stuff.
So on average, even if you have thousands of followers, only 200 of your followers are consistently seeing your feed. And that's so unfortunate because especially when you're building your brand or who you are, because of that algorithm, it's the 200 same people that are going to constantly pop up in your feed, or you're going to pop up in theirs, or you see the stories on the top of the page of always the same people over and over. So what you should do is start interacting with people who you don't see on your feed. Go into your following count and just start going down your followers list and randomly clicking and liking some of their photos, but don't like too far down the timeline. But that will help you get noticed by followers that organically follow you, but they might not actually interact with you because they're not seeing your stuff. So even if you've got 1 million followers, 200 of them are actually seeing your stuff, and they're probably finding you through hashtags, even if they already organically follow you.
And we'll do one last question.
Hey, I just got a few things. I think it'll be very beneficial for everyone. You said the 3 things. You had said your email, what to send to brands. What were your exact 3 things? It was like perfect.
It has to be kind of like an elevator pitch in the body of the email, and then you can attach the one sheet. But I would say a 1 or 2 liner about who you are as a brand and what your objective is. And then a great salutation, like, have a great day, looking forward to hearing from you. But it has to be something really compelling for a brand to actually want to reply.
Okay.
And tell them what a one sheet is really quickly.
So a one sheet is if you go to a website and you click on the About page, and it's everything about who you are, who your brand is, it's basically that information condensed down, and it's something that somebody can read in less than 10 minutes.
Okay. I call it my 1-page press kit. It's just 1 piece of paper I made on Photoshop. It's got a picture, a couple other modeling pictures, and then all your main things about you, like your resume, the biggest things you've done, and then any like Getty image, wire
What was
image,
the question again?
red carpet things. I was just going off on what
So
she said.
that's a great like media kit, especially for an artist. It depends on what your objective is, again, because if I'm wanting to do a brand partnership, I want to see, I'm looking for paragraphs about the business and statistics about the brand, or your statistics and how quickly you grew your following and what you do and why. So the pictures for us aren't as important because we've already seen your Instagram and whatnot, but it depends on who you are and what you're promoting.
Okay. Could I just mention a few things to the crowd? I just wanted to give away some free pointers. If you got your notes out, hashtags, guys, you only want to, I have a social media marketing company too. I have over 1 million followers on Instagram, JJamesHQ. So what you want, I'm just saying that. I know what I'm talking about. So with hashtags, you want to.
The panel just got hijacked.
I just want to say something. You guys don't mind?
Just, can you make it quick? We've got
Yeah,
that
yeah, real quick. With hashtags, you want it to be your first comment. You don't want to put them in your caption. It works the same exact way. So post your photo, have your hashtags ready, and then post them as your first comment. It doesn't look tacky either. And I just want to mention the fellow over there. He said something about investors and stuff. You definitely want to have a business plan. So create a business plan. Cameras to use, just use your iPhones now. Use the portrait mode. And then the number one trick to getting verified is you have to have your fans impersonate you. You can get that done by live streaming on like Live Me or anything, and then they will do what you say while you're live streaming. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, guys. Give them a round of applause for these guys.
It was great seeing you. Thank you. Appreciate it.